Welcome to the quiet, small town of Derry, where something old and terrifying lurks beneath the streets. We follow a group of kids, called the Losers Club, as they stumble through their deepest fears and uncover a dark secret that has been slumbering for 27 years. Welcome back to Recap TV. Today, we're diving into the horrifying 2017 adaptation of It. If you enjoy story recaps like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more recaps like this. Now get comfy and let's dive right into the story. The story begins in the small town of Derry, Maine, where rain falls over empty streets. Inside a small house, a young boy named Bill folds a sheet of paper into a boat for his little brother Georgie. Little Georgie wants to go outside to try out the boat, but Bill is sick and can't join him. Excited, Georgie rushes out into the storm without him, clutching the boat tightly. Outside, the rain is relentless. The paper boat skips along the current, gliding through puddles like a toy lost at sea. Georgie laughs, chasing after it down the street, until it turns a corner and disappears into a drain. He kneels beside the opening, trying to spot it. Then, two bright yellow eyes emerge. A face slides out of the darkness. White skin, crimson smile, eyes too bright to be human. The clown's voice is cheerful at first, teasing and inviting, offering the boat back to Georgie. The boy hesitates, insisting he's not supposed to take things from strangers. The clown giggles, introducing himself as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, and assures Georgie that they are no longer strangers. Skeptical but curious, Georgie reaches into the sewer toward the boat. The moment his fingers touch the edge, the creature's grin widens. The boy screams, his arm torn away, blood washing into the rainwater as his body is dragged into the blackness below. Months later, the town moves under a heavy summer sun. Mike Hanlon, a quiet boy living on his family's farm, works under his grandfather's watchful eye. He hesitates to slaughter a sheep, his hands trembling on the nail gun. His grandfather finishes the job for him, saying little but reminding him that in Derry, you have to be strong to survive. Across town, school's out. Bill and his friends, Richie, Eddie, and Stan, spill into the hallways ready for summer. They're the kids no one else notices. Loud, awkward, and inseparable. A group known as the Losers Club. Outside, they cross paths with Henry Bowers and his gang, older boys who rule the school through fear. Henry mocks them until his father, a police officer, appears nearby. Caught, Henry masks his humiliation with rage, dragging his tongue across his palm before smearing it across Bill's face. A silent threat. Elsewhere in the girls' bathroom, Beverly Marsh sits on a toilet seat. She is interrupted by a group of girls rushing in, confronting her and throwing accusations she's too tired to deny. Her calmness only fuels their anger. One of the girls fills a bag with water and pours it over her before leaving her alone. Outside, she meets Ben Hanscom, the new kid at school. Ben is shy and clumsy, but Beverly smiles and talks to him kindly, even signing his yearbook. Ben's eyes light up with happiness as she walks away. Later, Bill arrives home, where his father confronts him about the model of Derry's sewer system he has built in the garage. Bill still believes his little brother Georgie might be alive, trapped somewhere below the town. His father loses his patience, demanding that he stop. Bill's parents have already accepted that Georgie is gone, but Bill, burdened by guilt for not being there that day, refuses to give up. Meanwhile, Mike rides his bike through the town's outskirts, delivering meat to the butcher. Behind a metal door, he hears banging, something hitting from the inside. The door creaks open, and scorched hands reach out through the smoke. The air fills with the sound of distant screams. Mike freezes in terror as the door bursts wide, revealing a figure lurking in the shadows, the clown. He stumbles backward, barely avoiding Henry Bowers' speeding car. The bullies jeer as they race past. When Mike looks back, the smoke is gone. The butcher now stands calmly in the doorway, as if nothing had happened. Elsewhere, Stan, one of Bill's friends, studies for his bar mitzvah in his father's office. A painting hangs on the wall, a woman with a warped, stretched face. It unsettles him. When the painting falls to the floor, the woman inside it is gone. The room grows still, a breath behind him. He turns, and she's there. The painting come to life, face twisted and eyeless, reaching for him. Horrified, Stan rushes outside. In the library, Ben reads through the town's history. Newspaper clippings show Derry as a place of tragedy. Fires, murders, disappearances that no one ever seemed to question. He flips through the pages, his eyes widening at the disturbing images. He slams the book shut, but then notices a red balloon hovering in the room, drifting toward the basement stairs. Drawn by curiosity, he follows it down the steps. The basement is dark and silent until a figure approaches. Terror grips Ben as the figure is revealed to be headless. He bolts, the headless figure chasing him through the room. He glances back and catches a glimpse of the clown pursuing him just before he crashes into the librarian. Terrified, he looks around, but the clown is gone. Later, Ben runs into Henry and his gang. They surround him, mocking and laughing. An old couple drives by, and Ben yells for help, but the car keeps moving. A red balloon floats in the back seat as it passes. The bullying turns violent. Henry punches Ben and begins carving his name into Ben's stomach. His friends hesitate, thinking this has gone too far, but they still hold Ben in place, too afraid of Henry to intervene. In a surge of panic and anger, Ben kicks free, tumbling down the hill. The gang chases after him, but Ben manages to escape into the woods. The bullies split up, searching for him. Ben follows a river and ends up near a sewer entrance where Bill and his friends are looking for clues about Georgie. The boys find Ben injured and help him, leaving the area together. Soon after, Patrick, one of Henry's friends, reaches the same sewer entrance. Hearing strange noises inside, he assumes Ben is hiding there. He steps into the darkness, using a spray can as a torch. The light flickers across the wet concrete, then he sees them. Pale, twisted figures moving toward him. Panic takes over. Patrick runs through the tunnels, the sound of footsteps and laughter echoing behind him. He reaches a dead end, clutching a weapon in hand. A red balloon floats toward him and bursts, revealing the clown. It doesn't end well for Patrick. Elsewhere, the Losers Club arrives in town. In an alley, they start patching up Ben's wound, but when they go to buy supplies, they realize they don't have any money. That's when they run into Beverly. Feeling sympathy for them, Beverly distracts the cashier while the boys quietly take what they need. They meet again in the alley. Beverly worries about Ben, but he insists he's fine. Bill, clearly drawn to her, invites Beverly to go swimming with them the next day. She smiles and agrees. Later, at home, Beverly finds her father waiting. Her fear is immediate. She retreats to the bathroom, cutting her hair as tears fall. It's never shown what happened between them, but the fear in her eyes says enough. The next day, the Losers Club meets at the quarry for a swim. Laughter echoes across the water as, for a brief moment, everything feels normal. The weight of Derry seems far away. Later, as they rest on the rocks, the conversation turns to the town's dark past. Ben explains that Derry has 6 times more deaths and disappearances than the national average. The group listens in uneasy silence, frightened, yet drawn to the mystery. They follow Ben back to his home, where he reveals the extent of his research. Walls covered in newspaper clippings and photos tell a chilling story. In every tragedy, one image repeats: a clown smiling from the background of history. The scene cuts to Eddie walking home. He's tense, clutching his inhaler as he passes an old, abandoned-looking house. He slows down beside it, and the door creaks open. Deep, inhuman voices echo from within. Terrified, Eddie starts to walk faster, but drops his pills. As he hurriedly gathers them, a hand reaches down, offering one back to him. Eddie looks up and freezes. Standing before him is his worst nightmare, a grotesque, sickly-looking figure. He runs. The creature lets out a shriek and chases after him, its bones cracking with every step. Eddie sprints toward a fence, turning just long enough to see it. The white suit, the crimson grin, and the red balloons. The clown is here. It laughs, a twisted, maniacal sound, and Eddie bolts. Meanwhile, Beverly arrives home. Inside her book, she finds a card from a secret admirer, a short poem written just for her. It makes her smile. As she wonders who it might be from, faint sounds echo from the sink. Curious, she peers inside but sees nothing. She lowers a tape measure into the drain, watching it drop deeper and deeper until it reaches nearly 24 feet. When she pulls it back up, her breath catches. The tape is slick with blood and tangled hair. Before she can react, strands of hair shoot out from the drain, wrapping around her and dragging her toward the sink. She struggles to break free, but suddenly, a violent burst of blood explodes from below, drenching her and covering every surface. Beverly screams, frozen in shock and horror. Just then, her father bursts in. Around Beverly, the walls pulse red, blood covering every inch. Yet to him, there's nothing. He sees only his trembling daughter, confused and afraid, unable to explain what just happened. That night, Bill lies awake, unable to sleep. His mind drifts to Georgie, his little brother, and how he misses him. Then, a shadow moves down the hallway. Bill follows, heart pounding. Downstairs, a flash of yellow, the raincoat. Shaken but hopeful, he descends into the basement. The floor is flooded, water rippling around his feet. And there he is, Georgie, smiling and alive. But something feels wrong. Georgie asks him to come closer, promising that he'll float too. Bill can't get a word out. Georgie keeps repeating the words, louder, sharper, until his voice twists into something inhuman. His face begins to rot and peel away. The clown rises from the water as Georgie fades away. For a moment, everything goes still. Then, it lunges. Bill sprints up the stairs, slamming the door as the thing sinks back into the dark. In the morning, Beverly invites everyone to her house. She explains what happened in the bathroom, and to her relief, the others can see the blood too. Together, they clean up the room, the tension easing slightly. Once outside, the conversation turns to the strange visions each of them has experienced. Richie is the only one who hasn't seen anything unusual. Suddenly, they spot Mike Hanlon's bike parked next to Henry Bowers's car. They quickly decide to check on him. At the beach, Henry and his gang are beating Mike. Lying on the ground, Mike glances up and sees the clown in the bushes, waving at him with a severed arm. Before Henry can strike again, a rock hits him. It's the Losers Club. Mike scrambles to safety as a violent rock-throwing battle erupts. Outnumbered, Henry's gang is defeated, and the losers emerge victorious. They walk through town and notice more and more missing posters of young children. They wonder if this will ever end, and Ben believes it will eventually. He explains that the previous events, which claimed many lives, all happened exactly 27 years apart. Mike shares his own story, the fire that killed his parents, and how he has seen the clown as well. The group realizes that each of them experiences visions that prey on their deepest fears. Eddie asks Richie what he fears most, and Richie answers, clowns. The losers gather in Bill's garage. He pulls out a projector and a large map of Derry. They begin to study the town's layout. Bill points to the network of sewers and the well house, connecting the missing children to these locations. They come to a chilling conclusion. The creature stalking them lives in that house. Suddenly, the projector flickers by itself. Photographs appear, showing Bill and Georgie with their parents. Slowly, Pennywise's face creeps over their mother in the images, twisting her features into something grotesque. The children recoil, knocking the projector over, but it continues to play, projecting distorted images across the garage walls. And then, it appears. Pennywise's full form emerges from the light. The clown's wide, unnatural grin fills the garage. The clown attacks, and the losers scramble, barely managing to open the garage door just in time. The air is thick with fear and adrenaline. Each of them knows they've just seen something beyond explanation. Bill has had enough. He heads straight toward the well house, ready to face whatever is inside. The others stop him, but Bill tells them that this needs to end. For him, stepping into that house is easier than going home and thinking about Georgie. The honesty in his voice silences them. They admire his courage, but in the end, only Richie and Eddie follow him inside. The house is a decaying wreck, overgrown, collapsing, and heavy with a feeling of rot. Richie picks up a missing poster with his own face on it and begins to panic, but Bill steadies him. A sudden noise echoes from upstairs. They move toward the sound and find a missing child lying on the floor. Before they can react, the body is yanked behind the corner by something unseen. Eddie hears someone calling his name. He wanders away from the group, drawn in by fear, until a door slams shut on its own, trapping him on the other side. A hole cracks open in the floor in front of him. Eddie looks down, and a cold hand grabs his shoulder. He spins around and faces the same sickly, deformed figure that chased him before he steps back in terror and falls straight through the hole, slamming into the room below and breaking his arm. Meanwhile, Richie drifts away as well and enters a small, dark room packed with clown mannequins. Their painted faces stare blankly at him. Some of them shift almost imperceptibly as he walks through the room toward a coffin. He opens it and finds a maggot-infested doll shaped like himself. He slams the lid shut, and just then, the clown drops from above and lands right in front of him. It towers over Richie, taunting him. Then it lunges. A split second before the clown reaches Richie, Bill grabs him and yanks him out of the room. Back downstairs, Eddie tries to sit up as he cradles his injured arm. A hand slowly reaches out from inside a small refrigerator. Eddie stares in horror as the clown crawls out of the tiny space, twisting and cracking its limbs to fit through. It approaches him and growls a single line, "It's time to float." The clown grabs Eddie, who screams as its mouth stretches wide, preparing to kill. Just in time, Bill and Richie burst into the room. The clown grins, mocking Bill about Georgie before lunging towards them. Then, Beverly appears and drives a sharp object through its face. The others rush into the room as well. They watch, horrified, as blood pours from the clown's face and drifts upward unnaturally. But the wound isn't enough. The clown slowly turns toward them again. Its hand stretches and twists into a demonic claw. It releases a maniacal laugh and slashes Ben's stomach, leaving a deep, nasty wound. But instead of attacking again, the clown steps back, retreating into the shadows. Bill follows it and sees its body descend into the darkness of the well below, retreating for now. Outside the house, Eddie's mom arrives in a panic. Furious, she blames the other kids for Eddie's broken arm and drags him home. The losers are left shaken, and soon the arguing begins. Bill insists that now they know where it lives, they can come back prepared. Stan snaps, saying there will be no next time. Beverly steps beside Bill, saying someone has to do something. Ben challenges her, pointing out that if the cycle continues, all this will happen again in 27 years, and he'll be far away by then. Beverly refuses to accept that, saying she doesn't want to run. Richie explodes, yelling that Eddie was almost killed and going back would be insane. Then, in frustration, he spits out that Bill couldn't save Georgie, but he can still save himself. Bill punches him. Chaos erupts, and the group splits apart. Time passes. On a farm, Henry Bowers and his friends shoot objects with Henry's father's gun. It isn't enough for Henry. He orders them to use a cat as a target. Before they can, Henry's father arrives. Disappointed and furious, he takes the gun and fires a round into the ground near Henry's feet. Henry flinches. His father tells Henry's friends to watch him now, shaming him. Later, Henry notices a red balloon drifting across the yard. It leads him to a small packet. Inside is a knife. He takes it home. As his father sleeps in front of the TV, Henry stands over him, trembling. After a moment, he drives the knife into his father's neck. Blood bursts out. His father struggles, but eventually bleeds out. On the TV, a show is playing, but when Henry looks up, Pennywise is there on the screen, smiling at him. The scene shifts to Beverly. She's trying to leave the house, but the door is locked. Her father sits nearby, questioning her about spending time with a group of boys. He's heard the rumors. His anger grows, and Beverly breaks free, locking herself in the bathroom. Her father kicks the door open. As he moves toward her, Beverly strikes him with a heavy object. He collapses, bleeding. She turns around, and Pennywise is there. Bill waits outside nearby, but when Beverly doesn't appear, he goes looking for her. He finds her father dead on the floor and a message scrawled in blood on the wall. Bill understands. It has taken Beverly. Bill rushes to the arcade where Richie is playing. Richie tells him to leave, but when Bill says that it took Beverly, Richie freezes, then turns, ready to help. Soon, the whole group reunites. Whatever differences they had are gone. They're going to save their friend. They head back to the well house, armed with weapons. Nearby, a familiar car watches as the kids enter the house. The kids enter the basement where the well is located and lower a rope, each taking turns climbing down into the darkness. Meanwhile, Beverly awakens in the dark sewers. She struggles to stand, and when she does, she sees a mountain of old toys, bikes, and belongings of missing children. At its base hangs a poster of Pennywise the Dancing Clown. She looks up and sees something surreal. Around the pile, the missing children float in the air as if weightless, suspended like ghosts. She searches for an escape, but a sound makes her turn. Pennywise appears, performing a strange, twisted circus routine. Beverly spots an opening and runs, but Pennywise leaps, catching her mid-step. She struggles, telling him she isn't afraid. The clown, irritated, replies, "You will be." Its jaws stretch open, impossibly wide. Inside, Beverly sees something, a light, ancient and terrifying. Her body freezes. Slowly, she begins to float upward. Above, Mike is the last one preparing to climb down. Before he can, he's suddenly yanked backward. It's Henry Bowers. Henry looks into the well, staring down at the kids below, then pulls the rope up. Mike is on his own now. Mike spots his cattle gun on the ground. the one he brought with him, and goes for it, but Henry is faster. He slams Mike down and shoves the barrel of the gun into Mike's face. In the final second, Mike knocks the weapon away, grabs a nearby rock, and swings. Henry tumbles backward. Fueled by adrenaline and fury, Mike gets to his feet and shoves Henry into the well. He screams as he disappears into the darkness below. We move to Stan, who wanders ahead alone. With only a flashlight, he inspects the dim room. The beam of light lands on something horrific. The twisted woman from the painting. A scream echoes. The others hear him and sprint toward the sound. When they reach him, they see the nightmare. The woman's monstrous teeth sunk into Stan's face. They shout in terror as the creature rises, backs into the shadows, and vanishes. They rush to Stan's side. He's injured, trembling, but alive. Then Bill sees something. Georgie. He grabs Mike's cattle gun and follows Georgie through the pipes. Eventually, he ends up in the chamber with the towering pile of belongings and the missing children floating in the air. There, Beverly floats as well, frozen in a trance. Bill sees Georgie moving behind a corner and decides to keep following him. The others arrive moments later, stunned by the sight of the floating children. Together, they pull Beverly down. She doesn't respond until Ben, panicked and emotional, kisses her. In a moment that feels like a miracle, her eyes open. She's back. Meanwhile, Georgie approaches Bill. This time, it seems like the real one. One arm missing, the other clutching the boat Bill made for him. Georgie whispers that he couldn't find a way out and that he misses his family. The whole group arrives now, watching in silence. Bill, still unsure, questions Georgie, asking if the boat was fast. Georgie answers, it was. There, Bill gets his real answer. He corrects him, saying the real Georgie knows you don't call boats it, but she, and then he proceeds to shoot him in the head. The boy collapses. A moment of silence follows. Then the body begins to twitch. Slowly, Georgie twists and stretches, morphing into Pennywise. The clown rises to full height, towering over the Losers Club. A manic smile spreads across its face. Then a fight begins. Pennywise lunges. He slams Bill to the ground, jaws snapping inches from Bill's face. Mike rushes in, only to be thrown across the chamber like a ragdoll. Bill leaps onto its back. Richie grabs on too, while Stan and Ben hold its hands down, biting at its fingers. The clown thrashes wildly and throws them all off, except Bill, who's left trapped in its grip. Pennywise talks. He makes his offer. He will feast on all of them, or they can leave now and let him keep Bill. Bill struggles, telling the others to go, to leave him. Richie steps forward. He curses Bill, yelling that he warned him, that he didn't want to die for this. He rants about everything Bill put him through, punching him in the face, making him walk through filthy water, and dragging him into a crackhead house. Pennywise looks entertained, certain of what comes next. Then Richie adds,
and now, I'm gonna have to kill this fucking clown. Welcome to the Losers Club, asshole!
Richie swings hard. Mike charges in next, but hands claw out of the clown's mouth, grabbing him. Stan attacks, and Pennywise turns toward him, shifting into the twisted woman again. Stan strikes it across the face. Mike crashes to the floor and rolls away as sharp claws tear into the ground near him. Ben attacks next, driving a metal object straight through Pennywise's body. The clown screeches. It grabs Ben by the head, but Bill slams a chain across its face, freeing him. Pennywise collapses, and the losers swarm him, taking turns striking with everything they have. Eddie is splattered with vile black fluid, and in rage, lands a furious kick to the clown's face. Pennywise staggers backward, and as a desperate last attempt, turns into Beverly's father. Before it can speak, Beverly drives an iron bar straight through its mouth. It transforms back into the clown, spitting blood and metal, crawling away, afraid now, weakened. The losers step forward together. Bill knows now why it didn't kill Beverly earlier. She wasn't scared, and now none of them are. Pennywise flings itself backward toward a pit, gripping the edge. Before Bill can strike the final blow, Pennywise's face begins to wither and fade. With one last hiss, it whispers, "Fear." Then it drops into the darkness. Silence settles, and the floating children slowly begin to drift downward. Bill searches the rubble and finds Georgie's yellow jacket. Reality sinks in. Georgie is gone. Later, the losers sit together outside. Beverly tells them what she felt while floating. It was like she had died. She also says she saw all of them back in Derry, but older. It felt like the future. Bill stands up and wants them to make a promise. If it ever returns, they will too, to finish it. The others rise as well, agreeing. To seal it, they cut their palms and join hands in a circle, a promise bound by blood. Moments later, only Bill and Beverly remain. They share a quiet, emotional moment until Beverly says she has to go and begins to walk away. Bill hesitates for a second, then runs after her, and then they kiss. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Catch you in the next one.